Here we go, it's all about you, it's all about me, it's all about what we do. Making art, you and me, trying to find something to believe. Because I'm running wild, I'm running free. Still got a lot of shit left to see.
Part 3 of a series of analyzing the main characters of the Blue Eye Samurai. This video is the second to last part of the series. If you're a big fan of the Blue Eye Samurai and analyses, please take a look at my other videos on Ringo and Akemi. Taigen is a very popular character that has been likened to other popular animated characters, such as Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. I can see the similarities that people have drawn and the general comparisons made between these two characters. Both characters are stubborn, hot-tempered, aggressive, and with these character traits being very prevalent and at the forefront of their personalities, and with the other shared experiences that they have, such as both men having a traumatic past associated with their fathers and ending up chasing a more cool-tempered warrior in an attempt to restore their honor, who they come to respect and then eventually join their journey. And wow, that's a very specific experience to have. Again, it's easy to see how and why people see Zuko in Taigen. Today, as always should be the way, we're going to analyze Taigen and make a decision for ourselves regarding his character. And since so many people have likened him to Zuko, I'm going to be making some comparisons to that character as well in order to kind of flesh out and explain my opinion of Taigen. I just want to apologize to you guys if I don't have too many clips from Blue Eye Samurai in this video, but I am sick and tired of getting copyright claimed when I don't even have anything to claim. And speaking about that, this is when you guys like, subscribe, and do the damn thing. Let's go. Before we are even properly introduced to Taigen, we are given a chance to learn some facts about him through Akemi's perspective in episode 1. 1. We learn that Akemi has been not so secretly dating Taigen with the intention of the two becoming married, if she can acquire her father's blessing. 2. Taigen is a respected warrior or samurai of the Shindo Dojo and currently has an undefeated record. 25. Oh, my bad, sorry. 24, since he got his ass beat by Mizu. Undefeated duels, and he's been described as a fierce samurai. He's the best fighter from the best school. 3. Taigen does not come from a well-off background and is the son of a fisherman from Kohama, which we also know to be the region or village which Mizu is from. We then actually get to see Taigen himself when he meets with Akemi after she gets her father's approval of their marriage, and swiftly delivers the good news to him. Taigen is happy to hear the news and almost seems hesitant to believe it himself. He asks Akemi if she's sure, affirming their engagement, and when she says yes, he's ecstatic. We don't have to wait very long to see Taigen again as our hero, Mizu, venture to the Shindo Dojo in order to acquire information that may lead her one step closer to finding her father. Upon Taigen's return to the dojo after meeting Akemi, he celebrates with his mates, surrounded by women and booze, of which he partakes in both. They celebrate that Taigen has secured himself what is to be assured better social circumstances by marrying a lord's daughter. They also jest that he doesn't have to suffer by marrying an ugly daughter of a lord either. He gets to have his cake and eat it too. A lucky man right now. Mizu's mission quickly turns hostile when met with aggression and disrespect from the members of the dojo the moment she encounters them. This is also where we get one of the great lines from Mizu. "Then you'll die." After Mizu has slashed her way through all the fit members of the dojo, a senior member runs and gets Taigen, the best warrior, to defeat her. Of course, we know that he fails to do so, which consequently leaves him dishonored. The dojo sends him away shamed, which also results in him losing Akemi's father's approval. You may have noticed earlier my very particular wording when I said we were first properly introduced to Taigen when we met him in episode 1 when he meets Akemi. But, of course, we technically are first introduced to Taigen by way of flashbacks from Mizu's perspective. Both Mizu and Taigen are from a small fishing village called Kohama, and there Taigen bullied and tormented Mizu relentlessly as a child. As children, he led a group of other local boys to constantly assault and pick on little Mizu because of their mixed-race heritage. One of the main differences between Taigen and Zuko is that upon introduction of these two characters is when we meet Zuko. He is already at the lowest and most desperate point of his journey, and he's been that way and in that state for some time. We meet Taigen comparatively when he's at the top of the hill. For him, he has finally achieved all of his greatest desires until Mizu comes along. In Taigen's eyes, his long journey is complete, and Zuko's has only just begun. Of course, that high and mighty position that he sat at, as I said before, is then swiftly taken from him when Mizu's journey intersects with his life. Going into episode 2, we discover and we get to see Taigen is arrogant, narcissistic, and foolhardy. He is incapable of the emotional maturity required to handle his defeat. His defeat shrouds him in shame. His pride is hurt, and even though Akemi tries to console him and affirm him, his pride, his honor, it's hurt. She offers him a chance to move forward with her, past his defeat, and continue to marry her, though that may not have been in her hands to begin with. He instead chooses to chase the prospect of restoring his honor, the only thing he can think to do, even though Akemi doesn't believe in his ability to do so. Another key difference between Taigen's journey and Zuko's journey is their catalyst. Zuko was exiled and punished with the insurmountable task of finding the Avatar with a low-ranking crew, and Taigen chose to chase Mizu. Though both journeys are centered in pride, it is important to note that Zuko's obsession was involuntarily spurred by his desire, his need to return to social life, to see his friends, his girlfriend, or romantic interests. As far as Taigen knew, his defeat may have cost him little more than his pride in the circumstances in which Akemi still marries him, and through her connections, potentially secure him a job at the Shogun's palace anyway. Maybe a bit low ranking and with less honor, with less authority, with less ability to rest on his reputation that he's built up over the years, but he would still have that position, potentially. Zuko's shame is connected to his bruised pride in that he was demeaned in his relationship with his father, who's treated him oh so condescendingly. His father's continuous and significant presence in his life, despite the fact that they don't share proximity for the majority of Atla, reckons Zuko. Zuko still had to navigate throughout the Fire Nation, commanded over by his father, the Lord of the Empire. His presence was constantly felt. Taigen also shared an emotionally and physically abusive relationship with his father. His father was a fisherman and, more importantly, an addict who would look for solace in alcohol after a bad day's catch, and then became hostile towards Taigen. Taigen's father is his source of his shame and his pride issues, but Taigen's father has been and is for some time dead. Zuko was a child. Taigen is an adult now. Taigen has had time and opportunity to grow from his traumatic past. Taigen can also be very disingenuous. However, I think it's important to say that it is understandable how Taigen would have developed narcissistic tendencies, even though that word is a bit overused. Or should I say, egotistic tendencies. And these tendencies tend to be attached to his perception of his honor, which he has earned through his professional training and achievements. His honor wasn't passed down to him like Zuko's was. He's gone from worthless to the great and undefeated Taigen. It is not just about financial security and comfort for Taigen, avoiding the bad catch days. It's not just about that. It's about proving that he is not worthless to his father, even after all this time. Just like Zuko once had a complex about as well. Where it becomes hard to empathize with Taigen is his lack of respect and the general contempt he holds for others. Again, yes, Zuko was stubborn, he was bratty, and he was foolhardy as well. But he was also a child and a prince. Taigen lacks remorse and empathy for those he doesn't respect, which is seemingly next to no one. Even Zuko could demonstrate the simplest sympathy and empathy and respect for the lives of his fellow soldiers, as we have seen both in the original Avatar and now even in its reincarnation of the live action. In both those shows, Zuko cared for the lives of those soldiers and what had happened to them if they were sacrificed in battle in order to just achieve one tiny goal in a large-scale war. Zuko had respect for life, even at his age, even with what he faced. Of course, you can't compare one abusive circumstance to another, but it is admirable. Though it was still admirable how Zuko still had that fondness for life. That's also what separated Zuko from the likes of Azula. But I guess an important factor in that was the presence of Zuko's mother and her love in his growing years. And we haven't heard any mention of Taigen's mother or what had happened to her, or if she was ever around or involved in Taigen's life. Taigen then chases down Mizo with the end goal to duel them again properly, following samurai code, this time slaying Mizo. Taigen then chases down Mizo with the end goal to duel them again properly this time, following samurai code, this time slaying Mizo. Doing all of this so that his honor as a warrior may be restored, or more so his wounded pride would stop hemorrhaging. Yet, again, even Akemi doubts that Taigen would be able to win such a fight against Mizo. He cannot. Mizo is the hero of the story at the end of the day, and they are nicely bubble wrapped in sufficient plot armor to ensure that they always survive. And more importantly, Taigen just is not better than Mizo. When Taigen finally does find Mizo, they are badly wounded from an impressive and difficult fight. Taigen allows Mizo a couple of days to rest and regain some strength before their duel, and Mizo intends on following her lead on her father, which first leads her to Heije Shindo. In order to keep an eye on Mizo and ensure that they can have a duel, because obviously a dead samurai can't duel, Taigen decides to follow Mizo. Mizo points out that Taigen's chaperoning of her life as she goes has Mizu points out that Taigen's chaperoning of her life as she goes to meet and confront Heiji Shindo is just a sign that he doesn't want revenge. He wants a party and a ceremony, which is true. If he truly just wanted revenge, he could take Mizu's head. But he wants honor, he wants performativeness, he wants validation, he wants to be recognized, adored, appreciated for his talents. Even after being defeated by Mizu, Taigen has learned no humility. He constantly underestimates and berates those around him. For example, brushing off Ringo and rudely ridiculing him for his dreams. He's pompous and arrogant from the short time he's spent on his pedestal. And even when he tries to show respect to Ringo for his cooking skills, he can't seem to do so without a backhanded compliment. Ringo, who Mizu almost instantly recognized for his capabilities, talents, and innovation. He also offers Mizu no remorse or apologies for his torturous behavior as a child. Quite the opposite, actually. He spits hateful words and contempt at them. And he languishes in the old stories that he tells to Mizu, where he burns her home down and taunts her. Taigen lacks emotional intelligence, and maybe some of the fundamental stuff too. After the gang's near-death run-in with Heiji Shindo, Mizu and Ringo manage to impress Taigen yet again with more than just their fighting skills. They show intuition in how they got themselves out of that situation alive. The gang nearly dies on multiple occasions in the confrontation. And maybe here is when Taigen's first lesson is taught. A lesson on being more than a warrior in real circumstances, knowing how to more than just win a duel. Everyone with a sword is not a samurai who will abide by honor codes to validate their conquest before they raise their blade. Some people are tacticians, politicians, strategists, assassins. Here is when Taigen admits to Mizu and Ringo that the experience that they've gone through together has slightly changed his perspective of them, slightly towards the positive. And he does this right before Mizu knocks him out and leaves him for dead, so he can continue to pursue and follow Fowler, undisturbed by Taigen's pleas and antics to duel him over and over again so his honor can be restored. Hey, I say Mizu leaves him for dead here, not because that was her intention. She doesn't say that. She says she just wants to get him off her back while she goes do what she has to do, and later she can duel him. Like, Taigen getting taken was 1000% Mizu's fault. Why the hell would you just leave him knocked out in the middle of nowhere, especially like literally a few meters outside of your confrontation with another deadly person? Like, it was such a weird thing to do. I didn't understand that thought process. I felt like she couldn't have really thought that was going to end well for him, unconscious, unprotected. Anywho, the next time we are reunited with Taigen, he's in a significantly poorer state than when we left him. He's been brutally tortured by Heiji Shindo and his goons. They want information on Mizu. However, Taigen impressively refuses to spill a word about Mizu to them. Unfortunately for him, that means he has to continue to endure hideous torture whilst captured and imprisoned. This moment is a significant glimpse into Taigen's integrity, which until this moment was seemingly non-existent. Mizu has earned Taigen's respect, and in earning that, some of his loyalty. We've seen Taigen's shaky ground of loyalty before in his less than favorable display of his celebration of him and Akemi's engagement. However, when it really counts, we also see that his integrity, his loyalty, can be counted on. So yes, it is a positive character trait displayed by him that illuminates the fact that Taigen does not generally have respect or empathy for people or, human life generally, but at least, of course, he does have loyalty, and he has the ability to display loyalty in certain circumstances to certain people. And Mizu has become one of those people who, in being more vastly skilled than the regular schmuck in the civil society, they have been able to gain Taigen's respect. But it is kind of a shame that these are the heights of which people have to achieve in order to earn his respect. Mizu has already shown that she's significantly better than him at fighting in swordsmanship in the past. She's also shown way more vulnerable moments than he ever has before he decides to crown her as someone who's now deserving of his loyalty. Zuko was overly prideful because he was nobility, but also it was a way for him to overcompensate for his shame of failing to compare to his sister, Azula, in firebending. Similarly, Taigen is prideful and arrogant because of the shame he has attached to his abusive upbringing. But Taigen also comes off as pure delusional, just a tad at times. He constantly boasts and makes ludicrous claims of his prowess towards Mizu that he can't back up. Not even Akemi believed in him when he left. Zuko knows humility, and we see him humble himself over the course of his arc with Aro spent in exile. Again, Zuko is also a child, 15, so it is also much easier to understand and empathize with any of his stupidity along the way. But My point is, we see Zuko through a much longer period of time be able to become humbled and humbled again, and be able to step away from his prideful nature, and to step away from his shameful past, or this insecurity which he shrouds himself of, which he shames himself for not being his father's favorite, essentially. We haven't been able to get there yet with Taigen. I cannot, therefore, give Taigen that same grace, and for me, that's why I don't find his character overly compelling or nuanced, or redeeming sometimes. Has Taigen began his path to redemption? Or has he simply accepted what has become more than painfully obvious? Mizu is more skilled than him. That's something we have to see. It's only after Mizu rescues Taigen that he finally starts to show genuine remorse for his past and how he's treated Mizu and Kama. This is a good beginning to a future where Taigen can begin to self-analyze his behavior and strive for better. To start a journey where he can come to terms with his severe need to feel validated through his samurai status, his strength, and his conquests. Again, Mizu should not need to have saved his life honestly for a second time before she could have easily killed him when they first met, that being a first. She shouldn't have to have done all of this and spare him for Taigen to be able to respect her life, or her as a person. When Taigen takes the first step to self-criticizing these aspects of his behavior and his morality, especially what he determines to be honorable behavior going forward, that's the first instance in which we see Taigen begin to show that he is redeemable. The first instance when Taigen commanded my respect is when he tells Mizu off for her foolhardy and blind-sided, singularly focused revenge. Even Taigen can see that Mizu is going too far, betraying her own morality. This conflict between the two occurs when Taigen finds out that Mizu knows of a coup and large-scale attack that is planned on the shoujo and all of his associates and family, which would include Akemi due to her marriage to one of his sons. Taigen scolds Mizu for knowing this information and having no intent on aiming to ensure Akemi leaves that area safely. No, it's not that Mizu really owes any of these two anything, but still. Taigen decides to jet off on his own to stop the coup, since Mizu similarly does not care. He recruits Ringo as well in the plan, giving him full acknowledgement for his capabilities. However, in the end, Mizu does come along to save the day, and also start a city fire. It depends on how you choose to look at the circumstances, but, people are dealt with. In the end, Taigen is beaten by the intense journey that was meeting Mizu and uncovering the wickedness that Heiji Shindu and Fowler had planned up. In the end, his experience has made him question what he truly wants in life. He finds Akemi, mourning the loss of her father figure outside the city walls, and he recalls a time when they were lovers, and Akemi would whisper sweet dreams of running away to live a simple, happy life. That was never what Taigen wanted before. Taigen wanted to climb the social ladder and gain respect and fame, to be known as a great samurai because of undeniable and elite skill, which he does have. He tells Akemi now, though, that they can do whatever they want to do. He's open to being happy, to living a simple life, and he doesn't care anymore about chasing that validation. Not right now, not anymore. Maybe he's learned something from watching Mizu chase the phantom of revenge that continues to pull her strings. Now she's all the way to London, chasing that same ghost. However, Akemi thwarts his plans. Akemi rejects Taigen's offer as she now no longer strives to live solely for her own comfort and happiness. These things are important, but she also has set her eyes on purpose. She now, like Taigen wanted to before, wants to become great. She wants to leave a legacy, or more importantly, create change and impact from the new shogun's side. Taigen is now left to his own devices without his samurai status, his marriage, his lover, and now not even Mizu. What happens to him? Now what does he choose to do next is still a mystery till season 2. But season 2 and onwards could be a great start to Taigen's journey, and a journey of really redeeming his character if he wants to. Maybe even with help from Akemi in a humble position, maybe he'll be able to venture on his own, and maybe he'll be able to learn things from others along the way, some empathy, respect, love. Zuko's redemption arc was reversed because it was paced well over a long period of time, in real life and in universe. That arc was also tested through trials and tribulations. It involved changed behavior and apologies. Taigen's not quite there yet, and honestly I don't think this season has given him too much time at all in comparison to the other characters in the show. Enough runtime for us to see much about him. I think we need more Taigen in season 2, way more runtime, and way more time when he's spent alone, being able to go through things and self-analyze and think, so that we are able to see what's going on in his head more, the way that we got a chance to do with Akemi and Mizu. He has not had the chance yet to show his behavior could significantly change, but I think there is so much more room to see what can happen in the long run, what he can do to establish long-term change in his character. And folks, that has been my analysis of Taigen, 3-part in a 4-part series. 4th part with B, Mizo, next time. Bye-bye!